Ladies, welcome. For those of you who don't know, this is Eva and this is Livvy, and they're amazing. And of course, there are kids out there who love and adore you. But there may be some people who don't know who you are. But we are here in Austin for the Greater Austin Comic Con here, and I just want to thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun. We're really excited.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, first of all, let's get a bit of background on both of you. Now, I know a lot of people first learned of both of you because of this amazing little tiny movie, teeny tiny movie called Frozen, I think it was called. Just kidding, the huge blockbuster Frozen, and the voices. People may not realize it's the two of you. Which voice did you play for in Frozen? I know what it is, but go ahead.
I play young Elsa.
And you were?
I play young Anna.
Young Anna. Okay, so do people constantly come up to you and ask you to voice those particular characters every single time they see you?
I mean, I don't have bleach blonde hair, and so I don't really look like young Elsa. And when I talk to people, I don't really think that it registers with them. But once I tell them, they're like, "Oh, can you do the voice?" I don't do it for my friends. They always ask me, and I'm like, "No, it's fine."
Would you do it for me, a total stranger?
Sure. I get weird doing it with my friends because
Gotcha.
I feel, I don't know, because it's my friends. It's like in two separate worlds, but.
So, okay, for the voice of Elsa, tell me, just say a few words of what she would normally have said in the movie.
Go away, Anna. Anna, go back to sleep. Go play by yourself.
Oh my gosh, that's giving me great chills. I love that. And for Anna, which you were playing that character, how would she would have responded to that?
Do you want to build a snowman? Do the magic! Do the magic! This is amazing!
Perfect. I love it. I love it. And they become iconic roles now. So how did you two end up getting those roles?
Well, I originally started out doing the scratch work for young Elsa, which is basically when they just want to get like a feel for what the lines sound like with the voice saying them from a kid. And so I just started out doing that, and then they auditioned a bunch of girls, and they liked my voice the best, so they just kept me.
And what about for you?
Well, at the time, my voice was very high pitched, and I actually had I couldn't say my R's, and this was my first big.
Cute.
This was my first. This was my first big audition. It was my first voiceover, so it was just kind of crazy. And they actually hired me because I had the thing with the R's, which is pretty funny.
And you're originally from Ohio, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Are you still living there?
Yes.
Okay. And so you were going to school, and then all of a sudden this audition came about. So, and how old were you at that time?
I was 8 years old.
You were 8 years old. So what was going through an 8-year-old's head at the time of getting this humongous part in this movie?
Well, at first I didn't really understand because I didn't understand the concept of voiceover yet, so I was just kind of confused. But then I was like, wait, Disney, she's a princess. I'm a Disney princess. I just thought that was the coolest thing ever to me.
That's fantastic. And for you at the time, she was 8, but how old were you?
I was 10.
You were 10. So had you already done voiceover work before that or not?
I've done a couple things. I did one little movie. It was my first voiceover audition, and I booked it. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of just how I got into voiceover. And then after that, Frozen and Shimmer and Shine, just kept going.
Oh, we're coming up to Shimmer and Shine in just a second. But for people who don't realize it, did you have any idea that Frozen, when you end up doing those voices and the movie came out, that would have been as big and as huge as it has now become?
I think whenever an actor does anything, you just kind of hope, and you don't really get your expectations up. And if it does, that's fantastic and amazing. And then if it doesn't, it's just a good experience, So I didn't really think about it at the time. I was just so happy doing it in the moment that I didn't really think about how big it would become.
And now your voices are recognized all over the world.
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
Awesome. Amazing. Wonderful.
And what about you?
That's honestly really crazy. I never thought of it like that. When I was younger, even after I recorded it, I'd see the commercials and I'd be like, okay, but then I'd be like, wait, I'm in that. That was just the craziest thing to me.
How do your friends react? Because I know it's different for a lot of different kids when their friends are like, oh, you're Elsa, or oh, you're Anna. Or oh my God, you're blah, blah, blah. I have a can you get an autograph, blah, blah, blah. How are your friends reacting now?
Well, I don't tell my friends. And then there's
Well, they find out.
At least once a year, there's always that one person that's like, oh, let's Google each other online, And then they Google my name, and all of that comes up, and they're like, what? They're like, this is you? And that always happens. Or they'll follow my Instagram, and they'll stalk me. I'm like, okay, thanks.
That's cool. It's okay though.
I don't originally start out telling people though, because I just want people to know me as me at school, not Disney, Frozen.
Totally understand. And what about you for your friends?
Well, at first it was kind of crazy, and then we started like getting like mellow about it, and it's just kind of we don't
She
talk
was the
about it
hometown
anymore.
hero.
But this
yes.
one time, my friend, she went around telling everyone, my friend's in a Disney movie called Ice.
Wait, ice? Ice, frozen. At least she didn't say like slushy or something
True.
like that. But it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, it was
That's
a lot of
nice.
fun.
And you said she was the hometown hero, right?
was.
Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, I'm just from like a smaller town, and like I don't bring it up a lot. Like I'll do stuff, and like I'll be in like a musical or something, and like have like this big family where I'm working with people, and I just don't tell them, and then someone finds out, and that's like a whole thing.
Someone always finds out.
Someone always like just tells everyone. I'm just like, all right.
Well,
yeah.
with the internet, it's pretty much everybody finds out, right?
Yeah.
You just take it in stride, which is pretty cool.
True.
Yeah. So what are you two doing now? I know you're here at the Comic-Con. You guys get a chance to travel to these great events, which are so much fun. So what are you doing in your careers now?
I have a show on Nick Jr. that I've been doing since like 5th grade, and I'm a sophomore in high school now. It's called Shimmer and Shine. I do the voice of Shimmer. She's this pink little genie. It's a Nick Jr. show, and it's amazing, and I love it so much. And then I have a couple other little things, but Shimmer and Shine is my main
That's
show.
your main gig, and I'm glad you brought that up because I have a friend who has a set of twins, and they love that show because they are twins. The characters are twins, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and what is the whole premise behind the show for people who don't know, which I don't know who that is, but some people may not know, but tell them about it.
Basically, it's about these two twin genies, Shimmer and Shine, and their human friend Leah, and they're basically, the two genies are her genie, and they grant her wishes and all these things. And then in the beginning of the show, there was a lot of like mistakes made along the way, so it's basically about like coping with your mistakes, and mistakes are okay. And now that they're in Zara May Falls, like the genie world, just a lot of fun adventures and a lot of new characters that we have.
And the reason why they made mistakes is because they were genies in training, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
See, I've been paying attention, which is pretty. Thank you. So, genies in training, they're young. They're trying to hone their craft, but as all kids do in training or whatever they do, they make mistakes.
Yes.
Right? So, what is the whole premise? I should say when the message you're trying to get across to kids out there who are watching the show about that.
It's that mistakes are okay, and if you have your friends with you, you guys can all figure it out together. And that's just kind of like a part of life, is making mistakes and going on fun adventures. And I think it's a great show. And the songs are amazing, and the colors, everything's just great about the show. I love it.
That's wonderful. And I love the concept of the twins thing. So it's really, really cool. And what about you? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been doing little episodes of like Adventure Time. I've done 2 when I was Bonnibel Bubblegum and Young Kara. And then I did like 2 lines in an episode of Clarence. And then besides that, I've done like student films. I did one film called Powerless. That's actually like, it's gone to Paris and stuff and all these like film festivals and like won a bunch of awards. And so that's pretty cool.
You know how you do also a lot of musical theater too, right?
A lot of musical theater. I mean, this year we did High School Musical at my junior school, funny enough. And right now I'm doing Music Man at theater, just like kind of local.
I love the whole concept of you guys being able to not only do the productions that you do or the movies or the television shows that you do, but you also have a close group of friends. You can be just laid back and relaxed away from that whole production world. Yeah. Do you think it enables you to be more grounded that way, being that you're in, one foot's in Hollywood and one foot is kind of at home?
Yeah, I think it helps a lot, and I think it just keeps me more grounded, of like a humble person, because I feel like in LA, it's like event after event, you know, let's be Instagram friends, you know, and it's important for me because I was born in Nebraska, so having real people around me is like super duper important, and like family and friends, and all of my family lives in Nebraska, you know, so having close friends is something that's really important to me.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And what about for you?
I mean, like, the concept of like Hollywood doesn't come up much with my friends and I, because we all just kind of hang out and do our own thing, and like we usually talk about, if anything, like musical theater and stuff that we do, or just like little games
Slime
and hanging
videos.
out. Slime videos on Instagram, you know, just kind of normal kid stuff now.
That's really good. And would you encourage other kids to do that? I mean, they're not in Hollywood, but they may be watching this and they're just kind of like, you know, I want to do big things, but I need to remain grounded, right? Always remain grounded.
I think coming into LA, you think that you want the life of like, oh, I want to do everything, you know, I want to see everything, I want to go to all the events, and it's like, you don't really need all of that extra fluff. I learned that like sooner than later, and it just, I cut all of it out, and it's been much better.
Wonderful. That's
But I'm
fantastic.
still, working and still in the business because it's what I love. I love doing it.
You hope to continue to do it for a long time, don't you?
Yes.
Definitely, and you as well, right?
I mean, yeah, it's important to know, I think I have so much fun at home and just kind of doing normal, 7th grader stuff, it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Homeschool is not fun either. I tried that in 2nd grade with my mom, and big no. Nope.
Well, you learned early, so
Yes.
you know what works for you.
Yes.
That's good. Now, one big premise of my show is I always talk to people about the importance of giving back as well. I mean, you have a huge responsibility. You are known names and you have a following, but you also become role models whether you want to or not. So I wanted to talk to you about what you are passionate about when it comes to helping others or giving back, something that just calls to your heart.
Well, I love going to Ronald McDonald House, helping out with kids, and I volunteered there a couple of times. And we went to Children's Hospital also, and we got to meet a couple of kids. I love doing the voice for the kids, and then they're just like, you just see a light bulb go off in their head, and it's just amazing. And I love working with kids. That's something that I'm really passionate about. Ronald McDonald, I love volunteering there and, helping clean. I mean, cleaning may seem like a small thing, but it really just helps in the long run, or organizing things. So I love giving back to kids and families in need.
Fantastic. What about you, Livvy?
Since the movie came out, I've done this Dragonfly Foundation, which is basically a foundation that helps kids with cancer and bone marrow transplants. It helps them be normal kids, and they can come into the landing and just play with toys and just connect with each other. It's a lot of cool stuff. So I recently did a camp where I was a counselor to teach kids about kindness and such through that foundation. I've also volunteered for the Animal Adoption Foundation and the zoo because I just love animals so much, so I've been helping out with that a lot too.
I'm sorry, when do you two have time to be doing all of this, which is amazing? When do you make time to do this? Because I know kids your age would probably be like, I don't have time, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. But how do you make time to do something like this?
I think figuring out your priorities early on is something really important, because you can't just give yourself a bunch of things that you have to do and then they all start happening at once and you're like, oh, I don't know which one. So I feel like setting your priorities first is something that's really important for me.
What about you?
I mean, I make sure everything I do before I do it connects with my schedule, and so I like to have stuff to do every day. I don't
Schedule. She's a working woman.
Yeah, but I really don't. I don't not having to do anything. I have to be doing something every day. So that's why I do different things, because I have to be doing something, or else I'm just kind of I don't know what to do with myself.
I understand. Now, for kids out here who may be watching, you saying, I'm going to be just like both of them, but also want to give back, what would you do, or what would you say to them to encourage them to give back as well?
I think being kind is something that's really important. I know a lot of people are like, oh, be kind. But it'll get you really far. And I think having social skills for talking to someone that may be a little bit shy, or, that just kind of needs help, getting their personality out. I feel like being social can really help bring out someone's personality. And, we're both pretty talkative people, so I feel like we're pretty good at that. But I feel like having that social skill is something that's really important.
I mean, personally, I think it's important to have support for others, and like she said, to be very kind. And I always whenever someone asks me about this kind of stuff, I'll just be just put yourself into someone else's shoes. It's it makes a world of a difference for even just one person.
And we're so lucky to get to do what we want to do, to be able to give back to people. And we're so lucky to be in these situations where we can help other people. So that's where I think everything kind of gets put into perspective. And I think we realize how grateful we are.
That's fantastic. Ladies, Eva, Livvy, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate the conversation. I appreciate what you guys are doing, not only in the industry, but outside of the industry. And you're making a difference. The smiles that you said you saw on the children's faces going into the hospital, that's huge. You may have not only lifted their spirits, but increased their positivity and maybe even their health. You never know. So keep up the great work. Thank you for being wonderful role models, and I hope to see you guys very soon on a whole bunch of other things for years and years to come. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.